Labels often always equate to limitations. I'll say it again, labels equate to limitations. Let me tell you why. We are an we are in an age where we are inundated with information and we can find out what we need to find out within seconds. Factually, some of it's true, some of it's crap. Because the other thing we need to acknowledge is that anyone can put anything on the internet, whether it's research, non research, my opinion, or my idea. Be careful of the labels that you give yourself because it almost always equates to limitations. I'll tell you why. I once had a client who came to me as a self proclaimed introvert. And I asked her, well, why do you believe you're an introvert? And how long have you decided that you're an introvert? And she said to me, well, I have experienced this symptom and this symptom and this symptom and this symptom. And I stopped her and I said, well, where did you get that list of symptoms from? And she said, well, I found it online. There's a couple of websites that give the symptoms to determine if you are an introvert or not. And I asked her the next question. I said, because you're an introvert, what can you do and what can't you do? And her list of all the things she couldn't do was heavier than what she could do. And what I said to her is the label in which you've proclaimed for yourself has also caused you to show up in the world in a manner where you can't do anything. It has caused you so many limitations. And I asked her to consider a new way of thinking about it. Okay, you think you're an introvert because you read online on websites where some are properly sourced and some are not. And you started with a symptom, and you've read the other ones. And then in the next few weeks, you've acquired those symptoms. Now, what if you simply said, and I asked her as a part of our conversation, what can't you do? Like I said before. And she's like, well, I don't like crowds. I don't like a lot of noise. I just list after I don't like, I can't, I don't like, I can't, I don't like. And I said, what if you said to yourself, I'm Karen. I'm going to use my name. I'm not going to use her name. Simply state your name. I'm Karen, and I don't like busy spaces. And when I go to events and it gets too busy, I'll choose to say my goodbyes to the people who are important to me and I'll leave. Instead of totally cutting down and Xing off busy spaces, you get to decide how you show up in that space. And that is taking control back. Instead of living in someone's limitations that they put online, I want you to be careful with the labels that you use for yourself and what it causes in you. Labels can equate to limitations. Maybe you define yourself as, you know what, I'm a quiet person. I don't like crowds. I'll go to events if there's not too many people. And if there are, I'll choose to leave. How about saying to yourself, I like intimate gatherings. I'm not a person who likes bigger gatherings. How about you talk about what you like and make that list heavier instead of what you don't like? I want you to be aware of what you don't like, but in place of that, you can still live. There's nothing wrong with being a self-proclaimed, if you want to call it, introvert, but you could simply be Karen who likes smaller gatherings because I like to engage with people in a deeper way. And when I see crowds, I choose to stay away from them. Or if I'm at an event and it becomes crowdy, my plan is I'll simply leave and say goodbye to the people I care about. It gets to be that simple. My friends, I'll say it again. Labels can equate to limitations. So be careful with what you label yourself as.